Namaste. Welcome to Sacred Sunday Sadhana number 10. Light a candle and get some tea or coffee, and let's get started together. First, sit with me. Bring your hands to heart center, or if it feels better, bring your hands into your lap or onto your knees. As you breathe fully into your belly, just honor everything that has brought you to this particular moment in time. All the wonderful things that have occurred in your life, as well as all the tumultuous things that have occurred. As you breathe again fully into the belly, expanding the ribs, breathing all the way to the collarbones, exhaling and allowing all the air to come from first the chest, then the belly, all the way. Exhale and squeeze out all the air all the way down to your root. As you inhale, it's almost effortless, like a vacuum. You exhale so deeply, you let go of so much that as you inhale, it's really no effort. You just take in because you've created so much space for yourself to do so. Congratulations for coming to this point in your life. You've been through a lot. You've climbed many mountains. You've traversed several different kinds of landscapes, your own inner landscape and the landscapes of those around you. And here you are, alive and well, beautiful, strong, and soft. If you haven't done so recently, shower yourself with loving kindness right now in this moment, with loving acceptance for all that you are, forgiving yourself fully for anything and everything, bathing yourself in compassion and gratitude. And if that's a practice that you have regularly of giving loving kindness to yourself, go ahead and do that again now. So whether you're in practice of it or you're not, take a moment now and just let yourself be washed in love and loving acceptance, loving kindness, allowing yourself to be exactly who you are, exactly as you are. And if love is something that's difficult for you to access, remember the 3 easy paths to love. I don't know if they're easy, but the 3 simple paths to love are gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, let your hands come down. Maybe give your shoulders a little shimmy, a little swim backwards and forwards. And just let your eyes take in everything that's around you, whether they've been closed for the last couple of minutes or open. Just look around and see if you can notice the way things are without judging, without blaming, without creating a story, without seeing work that needs to be done. Just notice your surroundings. And being in this place of noticing and not creating a story, that's the work for getting into your witness body, your wisdom body, which is the goal for meditation and ultimately for living, is to just be in this place of recognizing and allowing, okay, that's there, that's that, without creating a story about it. Today is going to be a really light topic. I wanted to just talk about the balance of inner strength and inner softness. And I feel like we've gone through some pretty dark topics. We talked about death and then addiction, and as well we've gotten into Wu Wei, which is just accepting and going with the flow. And I invite you to revisit, maybe even just in your mind, if you've gone through the first 9 Sunday sadhanas, just remember the topics that are floating around there and know that each one of them can help with each of the others of them. So that's the beauty of it. It's like a spiral, beautiful never-ending spiral. And you can go from point to point at any time. And every lesson that you immerse yourself in can also help you with what it is that you're working on, whether it's something we talk about or not. I'm holding this desert rose from my recent trip to Sedona. I've been back now for 2 days, and I can say that or has it been 3 days? Woo! I feel like I'm of this dimension and time zone now, but it's been pretty peculiar and absolutely wonderful that the temperature changed while I was gone. So I left muggy North Carolina and I went to the desert where it was dry. It wasn't too hot. It was 88, the high of 88. Just a dry sun, clear, crisp air, very different vegetation. And then we had to go back through Phoenix to fly home, and it was 110, and the wildfire smoke is filling the air, even in Phoenix, Arizona. So we got on the plane there and got off the plane in Charlotte, and my hair had been behaving very well in the desert. It was straight and silky, and as soon as we got back to North Carolina, my traveling companion and I, both of our hair just boing. But although it was humid, it was cool. So it felt very strange to return to this place that I'm so used to it being hot and muggy, and if you've been around me for more than 5 minutes, you've heard me complain about heat. So it was really welcome and wonderful, but let's also just take a moment to acknowledge and notice. I'm sure you've already been doing it, but just notice the change, this beautiful change in the weather. Fall is coming. It's really coming. And I think you'll agree with me, it's not just the temperature change and the quality of air, but there's something else that has shifted, something else that shifts between late summer and fall. This sort of excitement begins to rise and stagnation begins to move. So Ayurvedically speaking, we call that the transition from Pitta into Vata. So Pitta, as you remember, is this very intense, fiery, passionate energy. And when it begins to become imbalanced, it's irate, and it's frustration, and it's irritation, and it's inflammation. And then here comes this cool weather, and the beginning of Vata season is very exciting, and change is abreast, and everything just feels really good and flowing, and maybe we've got some new inspiration. Maybe we're ready to accept and allow things that before we've been kind of stuck. We've been sort of in this hot, you can almost see the heat waves in the air, kind of oppression. And then suddenly, like, that lifts and fall blows in, and just feels very freeing and like there's something good coming. Do you feel that? Yeah. So autumn is a favorite. It's my favorite season. Even though in the yogic and Buddhist traditions, I know that it's important to not have favorites, to just let things be. But I do notice I have a preference. So let's talk about inner strength versus inner softness. Both are so important. Both are so important. And I feel like the more you can develop your inner strength, actually the more softness you can acquire or you can expose. So for many people, and this is just my perception, maybe this isn't even true, but I feel like people think that being soft and vulnerable and open is equated with being weak and lazy and a doormat. And if you've ever truly been vulnerable, and I know that every woman in my yoga tribe has been, you know that it takes great strength to show those weak parts or those scared parts, to be authentic and to show up and be willing to be vulnerable. It actually takes immense strength. So it's kind of the opposite of what I think people fear that it will seem. Sometimes we don't show that we don't know the answer to something because we feel like it might show that we are less than or that we don't know something, when really it just shows our willingness to admit that we don't know. So I've been working a lot over the past 9 or 10 months, especially with just being soft. I've had a lifetime of getting really strong. Can you relate? I know how to be strong. I know how to stand in my own ground. I know how to be a force to be reckoned with. I know how to take no shit. I know how to stand up for myself and for those around me. And I know how to say no. I know how to set firm boundaries. And now, in these last 10 months, because that has been a wonderful tool, that strength has gotten me through many, many very difficult times, and it's helped me carry my friends and family through difficult times as well. But it occurred to me sometime last year, toward the end of, and then I had the wherewithal and the spring forward in January to begin to really, really start to soften. Because what happens is, once you've gotten really strong and you've practiced being this shielded person, you get really good at it, right? We get good at what we practice. So if we practice being tough and being, snarling and growling and saying no to everything and letting nothing in and letting nothing out, it's exhausting. It disconnects us from connection with other people, and truly it disconnects us from our own connection to source. So what I started noticing is that yes, I had taken these hard paths, and yes, I had done an incredible job getting there and getting through the muck and the mud and going through hellfire and just making my way through conditions that, a person without such strength wouldn't have been able to make it through. So yay, good job. However, we talk a lot about letting go of things that no longer serve you. If you have built up such strength and such walls, are they still serving you? And if so, then keep them right up. If it's still working for you, then keep it going. That's the thing. If there's nothing wrong, if there's not a problem, then there's no reason to alter anything. My grandpa used to have a t-shirt that said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But for me, being strong, being so strong, it actually was really getting in the way of my connection and my ability to understand and to connect with people, and especially people who haven't done the work, so to speak, or who haven't had an opportunity to build that kind of strength. It becomes difficult if you have that to even relate to other people, because you're kind of like, really? That's gonna break you? Oh. But what that is that I just described, that's just judgment. That's judgment. So I really had to start to soften so that I could connect and relate better to my children and to those around me. And so this process of softening, it's simple and it's not easy. I'm down the road about 10 months. I'm about 10 months into this softening process. And the first step of that, I did this wonderful workbook by Dr. Paul Douglas, who, again, if you spend 5 minutes with me, I'd probably mention his name twice. He's my Ayurvedic mentor, and he wrote a book that has a companion workbook called Think with the Heart, Love with the Mind. And that was a huge part in my softness, so I highly recommend that if you're looking to get soft. Basically, it's about learning to love yourself deeply and learning to soften. And the first part of that is to put down the gavel, to stop judging yourself and to stop judging other people. And notice when you're judging somebody, and then notice how you might judge yourself for judging people. And just let it go, let it go, let it go. Accept, allow, respond, don't react. Accept and allow. So doing that is a big part. Another big part from that workbook is just telling yourself many times a day how much you love yourself. Just closing your eyes and just saying, I love you, and meaning it. And again, if tapping into that source of love is something that's tricky for you, use the avenues of gratitude, compassion, and forgiveness. Do you know what it feels like to forgive? Do you know what it feels like to have compassion for someone? Do you know what it feels like to be grateful for something? And if you don't, that's okay too. That just means that's where you start. You start with really feeling and understanding each one of those different avenues. What does it truly mean to forgive myself and to forgive someone? And what does that feel like? And that practice might take years. And then move on to gratitude. What does that truly feel like? I can say the words, I'm grateful, thank you. But what does it really mean, and what does it really feel like? And compassion, to truly look at someone else and feel deeply that you want their situation to be able to change, and that you wish for that person happiness and the end of their suffering. So compassion is not pity. That's a very different situation. Pity is laced with judgment. It's kind of like a less than, better than comparison. So compassion does not mean pity. And that's another one. It takes a lot of time to work with that if the well-worn grooves are there, that pitying someone is what's been dressed up as compassion. So first look at those avenues. And once you really know what compassion feels like, what gratitude feels like, what forgiveness feels like, then you know how to access love for yourself, and you start to give yourself that every day, many times a day, and you start to put down the gavel for yourself and others. So those are tools that I've been working with. And I also have these meditations that I do. And, I'm weird with the word meditation. I truly believe that actual meditation really refers to when you're sitting, laying, or standing and only focused on one thing, be it the breath or a mantra. So when I'm doing this thing that I just called meditation, it's more like a mindfulness practice than meditation. So every night, just before I fall asleep, I'm scanning my body for resentment, just noticing, did anything happen today or in the past? Am I holding any kind of resentment? Did I try to make something someone said into something different? Did I make assumptions? Did I take things personally? I'm using the 4 agreements here. Did I do my best? Was I impeccable with my word? And it's not such a thought process. I'm explaining it to you here now, but really it's just a sensation and a feeling of just noticing. Noticing, is there anything in my body that feels like it's resentment, that feels like it's something that I created, that's some sort of knot or stuckness or stagnation that I made based on what I think someone else was meaning, or based on a wrong that I feel was done to me, or based on a way that I behaved to someone else that I know I could have done better. And if I find resentment, then I am again just coating it with love. When I just said that, I pictured the Advil commercial where they show the white Advil and then like the tan coloring of sugar coating is going all around it. Can you coat yourself in love? Or if it feels better, can you flood yourself with love? Getting rid of that resentment so that when you wake up the next day, it's a new day, it's a fresh day. And the same resentment might keep coming up again and again. And if it does, you just keep working with the tools you have. Non-judgment, bathing in love, forgiveness, compassion, gratitude. I'm a broken record, and that's okay. Again and again and again and again. So those have been in practice for me for a long time. Now I have a new way of being soft, and it's been built by the building blocks of those things, and it's around noticing my own somatic reaction, the reaction in my body to something that happened. So notice when you get frustrated, angry, jealous, confused, whatever sort of emotions arise for you, notice what they're doing in your physical body. And once you can notice, then that can be an area of your body that you send extra love to. So you're still doing your full body bathing, acceptance, allowance. But for me, there's a way that my throat starts to constrict. And sometimes I don't even notice it till the end of the day. Like my heart feels pretty open most of the time. And my posture is pretty good because of that. I know as a teenager, and this was before cell phones and computers, so I can't really blame it on that. But as a teenager, I was kind of walking around like this, just guarding my heart, feeling very, not knowing that I was feeling that way, but just feeling sort of embarrassed to show my heart. And I think a lot of teenagers do that, especially teenage girls. They just kind of hunch forward, like, think of how vulnerable we are in the front of our bodies. So to crouch up and to curl together, we're just like protecting ourselves all the time. And now as an adult, I'm in a place where it just feels so good to open and be open to receive. So to open my heart and to lengthen my spine feels amazing physically and energetically. So even though I'm so open here, I do notice if I'm in a situation that's, if my beliefs are being questioned or challenged, then I do find myself, the shoulders get a little tense, they rise up towards the ears, and slowly I start to cave. Even on the plane back from Sedona, I noticed in the air there was turbulence, and again, my instinct was to kind of like crunch up, as if that's gonna somehow protect me from what may be. And so notice, where are you crunching up? What are you feeling? I know that my throat, and this is a lifetime story for me, as is yours probably. And it's okay if you can't get to the bottom of what it's for. I'm not actually sure why I always feel it in my throat. I am very outspoken. I love to sing. I've never been shushed. So there's no real reason that I can think of off the top of my head that my throat starts to feel constricted, but it does. And so what I've been doing to get soft, 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 because when my throat is like that, it does cause me to kind of shift into a space, especially by the end of the day. And then I'm getting a little bit disconnected from source, and that's when I'm gonna do things like say something I don't mean, or be quick-tempered, or just be disconnected from the people around me and from myself. But if I can soften and feel safe and feel loved and feel open and allow my body to be open, then at the end of the day when I'm tired, I can just feel tired and sweet. And I want to be sweet. So what I've been doing and what I suggest, just sharing this tool with you. If you have a place in your body that you're just feeling the stuckness, feeling tightness, feeling pain, sometimes it's pain, then you can close your eyes. And that same love, gratitude, compassion that you've been washing yourself with, you can sort of concentrate that energy and send it right to the spot. I've been working with a new therapist who's incredible. She's a spiritual healer, and she instructed me to assign a symbol to my source, to the source of divine energy within me. So I invite you to do that too. What symbol, if that love and that pure Anandamaya Kosha, that true self, that seed self, the light that you are, if that could look like a symbol, what would it be like? Would it be a flower? Would it be a heart? Just decide, whatever comes to mind, what is that symbol like for you? And then just breathe the light of that symbol into the place in your body that's feeling the pain, the stuckness, the tightness. And it's a great way to soften, because in order to be open to the best of what the world has to offer, we need to be soft enough to receive. In order to understand the needs of your family and your friends, you've got to be open enough to hear what they're saying. You've got to be soft enough here to see them. You can't see through the wall. You can't hear through the thick wall. I'm not saying let go of boundaries. Boundaries are also self-love. It takes a lot of love and compassion to say, I'm not going to put up with this. I'm not going to put up with this. If someone does or says this to me, I'm out. Those boundaries need to exist. But the kind of wall and boundary I'm talking about that needs to be dissolved, and you know it, it's the one that's like so strong and so ready to fight that it's preventing you from feeling all the softness and the love around you. So I hope that's making sense. In order to be soft, it's not a weakness. It takes incredible strength to be kind. It takes incredible awareness and courage to be vulnerable, to be authentically yourself, to open, to show your heart, and to say, this is what I look like, this is what I sound like, this is what I am like. And your opinion of me, of what I look like, of what I sound like, what I am like, it doesn't change how much I love myself or how much value I have. I am worthy just because I am. I have divine worth, and it's not based on what anyone else thinks of me. It's not even based on what I think of myself. It's there, it's innate. I am worthy. You are worthy. You're not beautiful because of your mascara or your hair or your outfit or your jewels. You are beautiful because of that light inside you that's shining out. You're beautiful because of your vulnerability, because of your authenticity, because you're willing to say, hey, check it out. This is what love looks like. This is love. I am love. Breathe with that. See what that feels like. See how good it might feel to be soft. I used to have a Steve Martin record called Let's Get Small. It was his comedy routine. Maybe we could have a new record that we play called Let's Get Soft. Let's get soft. You could invite friends over to get soft. You can have soft parties. Let's paint and get soft together. Or just have a party with yourself. Get soft. We're 30 minutes in. I feel compelled and like I really want to remind you of your 5 koshas and of the 10 yamas and niyamas, because you need all those tools, not just once and done. Once and done. Not just one and done. you need those tools continually to just remind yourself, oh yeah, this is how I stop judging, this is how I forgive, this is how I am truthful. So let's just do a review of the koshas, okay? The koshas are the veils or the layers of life, the 5 koshas. The outermost layer of you is your Annamaya kosha, your food body, made of food. Inside the food body is the mind and emotional body, the Manomaya kosha, your thoughts and your emotions, how you relate to other people. Your Pranamaya kosha is your energy body, your pulse, the feelings in your fingertips and your toes, the heat inside your body, your energy signature, your vibration, your unique vibration. Those are the 3 most, they're not superficial, but those are the most outer layers. And then the 2 subtle layers of the body are the Vijnanamaya kosha, also known as the wisdom body or the witness body, that place from which you can notice all the other bodies. That place of timelessness. There's not then and then. There's just now. It's not me and you. It's just we. And then there's the Anandamaya. The Anandamaya kosha is the self with the capital S. It's your divine spark, the piece of the whole that resides inside of this beautiful body that you're in, the skin bag, the food body. The Anandamaya kosha is what creates your tapas, your fire, your flame. So those are your 5 koshas. Sometimes when I'm in the middle of a really stressful or just terrifying situation, I can make myself feel really good and comfortable and connected to love by simply reminding myself, this is my food body, how do I feel here? How am I feeling in my mind and emotional body? And that's usually where the shit happens, you know? It's a very strong pattern. We use the mind, we use the emotions so much, and they're great tools. This is not to say that any of them are less important than the other. All of the 5 bodies are how we have this human being experience. The 2 most subtle bodies are the being, and the 3 outer bodies are the human. So to be a human being is to have these thoughts and emotions, and then to feel that in the soma, in the Annamaya kosha. Check in and see how that is, but know that that's not you. This is not you. My mind is not me. This is not me. My mind is not me. Check in with the energy. How's the energy flowing through my body? And then checking in with the witness body. And it's usually when I get to the witness wisdom body that I can notice, like, okay, I'm actually safe. I'm fine. I'm sound. Everything's wonderful. This is now. This is what's happening now. There's no need to suffer by making this something else. This can only be this. This can never be that. This is what's happening right now, and so this is where I'm going to stay. And then, of course, the Anandamaya kosha would be sort of like, for me, it almost feels like an escape from the other bodies, where it's just like sensory withdrawal and into this deep state of connected consciousness with the universal field of everything that is, was, or will be. So run yourself through those 5 koshas, and then remind yourself of the 10 yamas and niyamas. Remember that the whole purpose of yoga is to move your body enough so that you can sit still enough to be in contemplation and meditation. You contemplate through these 10 yamas and niyamas, and they allow you to sit in meditation and to connect to source. That's the whole point of yoga in a nutshell. That's what to yoke means. It's yoking those practices so that you have the full experience of being a human being. So the 10 yamas and niyamas, we start with ahimsa, non-harm to yourself and others. Then satya, truthfulness, telling yourself and others the truth. Then asteya, non-stealing from yourself and from others, and that includes time. And I invite you to notice that sometimes when people are trying to help you, they're actually just trying to steal time from you, even if they don't realize it, even if it's not their motive. They just want more of what you've got. So a lot of times, how can I help or what can I do can be genuine. And sometimes those questions are just more ways to keep you there so that they can keep stealing the energy from you. And if you're allowing your energy to be stolen, that's on you. So boundaries, put up those self-love boundaries. Keep what you need for yourself. Don't allow asteya, and don't practice asteya by stealing other people's time and energy. Ahimsa, satya, asteya, and then we come to brahmacharya and a parigraha. Brahmacharya is non-excess. So not doing anything excessively, not overindulging in eating, drinking, not overindulging in telling a story and getting caught up in something, not over shopping, not overdoing anything. When you do something to excess, it becomes unhealthy. Brahmacharya is often associated with sex. Sex is beautiful, sex is powerful, sex is connective. Sex is one of the greatest joys of being a human. It's a human experience, not a being experience, although it connects again that human experience of the physical body to that realm of ecstasy. And isn't that great? Yeah, it's wonderful. Overdoing it is not wonderful. Overdoing it is not observing brahmacharya. Accepting it for how wonderful it is and kind of like savoring how wonderful it is and even replaying in your mind or looking forward to the next time. Healthy, healthy, healthy. But compulsively engaging in sexual behavior when you're no longer enjoying it and it takes more and more and more. I think that's why sexuality is often coupled with brahmacharya. But truly brahmacharya means not overdoing anything, which can be eating, not overeating, not over-imbibing, not over-stimulating, not overdoing anything. Just allowing yourself to have the sensation that's provided from the smallest amount of something, if that makes sense. Eat what you need to eat, and don't eat more. A parigraha goes sort of hand in hand with brahmacharya. It's non-attachment, so not being attached to things, ideas, people. And I feel like oftentimes it's the ideas that we get most wrapped up in. So trying not to get too attached to a way of thinking and a way of being to the point where you can't be soft and open. Those are the yamas. Then the 5 niyamas are, I always forget the order of these. Satya, Sacha, not bad. Sacha, cleanliness, internal cleanliness and external cleanliness. So keeping your space around you clean, keeping your temple clean, keeping your spirit clean. After Sacha comes Santosha, contentment, accepting what is. Accepting what is. Allowing things to be just as they are without trying to make them something different. It's not being a doormat. It's just noticing this rock is a rock. No amount of me wanting this rock to be a cat is going to make this rock into a cat. What I can do is accept that this rock is a rock and really appreciate this rock for its rockness. And then I can go pet a cat if that's what I want to do. Saucha, Santosha, then tapas, the inner flame, the inner desire, your inner strength to go and do. It's the fire that burns through all the other illusions that we've mentioned. it burns through the illusion of being separate. So it's more than just doing and your desire to do something, but it also encases burning through that illusion that we're all separate beings. So getting rid of the small self and really embracing and opening capital S self, which is the next niyama, svadhyaya, self-study. Self with a capital S as well as self with a little s. So understanding yourself, your little self, and how you do things and why you are the way you are, and then understanding and really digging into and acknowledging God, what God means, what God is for you, and where God resides in your body and in your world. Svadhyaya. And then all of those bring us to the 10th yama niyama, which is Isvara Pranidhana, total surrender to God. Happy Sunday. The light inside me sees the light inside all of you. Namaste.